I've been doing this now for over 2 decades, and June is the worst month to list and sell a house. I will stand by that. I will bet my commission on it.
Cambrian got hit hard.
The house that we're selling now will sell between 1.5 and 1.6. Had they sold when they were going to February, March, it would have probably got closer to 1.7 to 1.8. When's the last time somebody said, hey, we weren't thinking about buying a house, but we saw your open house signs?
In 12 years of doing this and doing an open house almost every weekend, I think 0.
And 75% of Americans over 50 don't want to downsize. They want to stay in their home.
Man, thank God June is over. I want to start with that. I was talking to Jason earlier today. I've been doing this now for over 2 decades, and June is the worst month to list and sell a house. I will stand by that. I will bet my commission on it. It has been proven over and over again. And a couple quick examples. I have a home. I have the lowest price single family home in all of Campbell, and it's not a bad house. And it sat for the entire month of June. We get past 4th of July weekend. We have our busiest open house weekend this past weekend with 14 groups through. And now it looks like we'll be having 2 offers today after it sat for a month. Same thing with our new home development over by Good Samaritan Hospital. It's been a challenge because our pricing was pretty aggressively high. Get through June, nothing really happens. Get into July and we get 2 offers on 2 of the units. Yeah. So, the only, and I'll let you jump into, but the only thing I want to say is next June, to all of my sellers, we're not listing until July.
We need to write it somewhere because every June we all forget how much it respectfully sucks. But let's just go on vacation. Yeah.
Go on vacation. I mean, you guys went on vacation, but that was
for longer.
That was actually a July vacation. But yeah, I just think, I think sellers at a minimum will net 50 to 100K more if they just don't list in June and wait till July if they're able to.
It's pretty interesting, David, that you say that because I had a townhouse in Morgan Hill and I've been dealing with the amount of new construction being built in Morgan Hill. Yeah. So obviously builders can offer, crazy incentives, deals and pay down your loan or not loan, but interest rate and offer, marble countertops and tile. Anyways, long story long, priced at $798. Had a kind of wishy-washy buyer. They backed out. Been on the market 100 days. We got 2 offers on the 100th day and sold above list price.
And what month did you get the offers in?
July, not June.
Yeah. No, it is
kind of funny.
I always say June and October. June, I think, because of graduations, vacations, and people are just out enjoying the sunshine. I don't understand why October is slow as well. I'll put some more thought into that. But yeah, if you don't have to sell in June, don't.
But I think we all agree. January, February, March of 2026 was going crazy. I felt like I was back in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
And then boom,
hit a wall.
Just hit a wall.
Which kind of coincided with our conflict overseas.
And I was actually talking with a friend yesterday about, the conflict overseas and the Strait and this and that. And ultimately, I don't feel that the war is a direct implication on maybe buyer pullback. I feel it is more stock-based than war-based, if that makes sense. And a prime example, I woke up today and did you guys see what IBM did today? No. A staple in the Valley.
They tank?
25%.
Good time to buy.
Yeah, so IBM is down 25% in one day.
Wow.
What's that in response to? Do you know?
I have to kind of dive into it, but it's interesting to see. And I mean, a lot of people are so stock heavy that when something like that happens, imagine if you had IBM, your $100 is now worth $75, right? Yeah. And you can't offer, housing prices don't fall like that.
Right. So, well, yeah, I agree. The stock volatility and the uncertainty in job market, right? That's what our drivers are primarily here.
And this has been like the gold rush, right? Like you look at companies, I think I mentioned this last podcast, Micron, SanDisk, NVIDIA, AMD. Some of these companies have had 10x run-ups, So there's a lot of people that got really rich and there's a lot of people who sold. And there's also a lot of people have diversified into real estate. So to David's point, I think he brought up a podcast or 2 ago, those bigger numbers and people that are worried about stock and things like that aren't really affecting so much the first time home buyer market, right?
Under 2.5 million.
Correct.
Right?
I mean,
First time home buyer.
maybe
Yeah.
when the stock goes down, it's affected, but like when stock goes crazy and you have $6 million, you're looking at, big time luxury properties. So
Yeah.
kind of a tidbit there, but what's the stats on like where are we at?
Yeah,
today?
no, great question. So 1,288 single family homes in Santa Clara County is what we have, and we've got 545 pending. So we've got about 2.5 months worth of inventory sitting out there. It's getting better. We talked about this on prior episodes, but June's kind of the peak, and then we slowly trickle down in terms of the amount of available homes between now and the end of the year. So yeah, I just pulled up 95124. There's 51 single family homes currently, which
God
is
bless.
double what we normally see, right?
Which is not that crazy because in January, February, March, May, excuse me, there was 114.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were one of them.
And somehow I got 1.9 million for, I think that has to be the price per square foot record for that month because I was struggling.
Yeah.
And I saw one of the agents, pretty prominent agent in our office who does a lot of business. I was expecting the house that he just sold to go for 1.8-ish. It went for 1.55-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, Cambrian got hit hard.
Yeah, Cambrian, Campbell, the house that we're selling now will sell between 1.5 and 1.6. Had they sold when they were going to February, March, it would have probably got closer to 1.7 to 1.8.
Mm-hmm. But you teed up, that's Mary Court? Mm-hmm. Of course, you always have to look back as an agent or as partners on teams. Like, what could we have done better? And kudos to you. I do feel like you set up your sellers perfectly for success. I thought that was going to go with multiples in the first week.
Yeah.
So I was just as surprised as you were, and sometimes it's like, what did we do wrong? Nothing. Unfortunately, we can only set our clients up for so much success.
Well, and I think, what happens is buyer mentality shifts faster than seller mentality, right? Buyers no longer feel like they have to go out the first weekend of open houses that a property's on and then make an offer right away. They want to go see it a second time or see some other properties versus sellers, they lag in terms of adopting, the current market mentality, which is, hey, we need to be ahead of the market and not behind. And so, lowest price single family home in all of Campbell and sat there for a month.
But
it's interesting.
There's always the inevitable. As a, buyer's agent, I feel like we talk about on the podcast, it's slow and this and that. And then when I go to submit an offer for my clients, I get multiple offers against me and I have to climb the ladder and go up 100K.
Yeah. There's still, right, when it's priced right, shows well, marketed correctly, they're still going to sell in under 2 weeks, right? But that is maybe the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of those properties are getting 80% of the offers in the market right now.
But before you dive in, what has held up exceptionally well that usually gets hit hard first is 95123, 95119.
Which is Blossom Valley, Santa Teresa. I always feel that
price per square foot though.
Yeah, if
you're the 1,800 to 2,200, you're good.
I always feel like those areas are kind of a safe haven, right? Sometimes they're the first to pop, but the fluctuation, people will always flee to those neighborhoods if they get priced out of others because Santa Teresa, 123, 119, and even a little further south where I'm at, great neighborhoods. You're along the mountainside or hillside, so you got good views and good schools.
And it's safe.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of my Indian clients who are there's a lot of specialty stores and people that they relate to, whether it's clubs or soccer or hiking or whatever. And they're like, yeah, this is I grew up with these people back overseas. So they also like that.
Yeah. The amenities, right? Like you said, the hiking, the trails, archery range, clay shooting, you get all of that, in close proximity. As far as condos and townhomes go, there's 1,018 on the market and only about 285 pending. Those are still going to be tough, I think, for the next year and a half to 2 years, right? Once we cycle through all the SB 326 and all the insurance issues and litigation issues, they'll come back. But speaking of condos and townhomes, success story out of San Jose. So last week, San Jose is the only city in the entire state that actually sold an ADU as a condo without having to split the lot. So this was something, it's Senate bill or Assembly Bill AB 1033. The idea was to help with our housing issues, where if you've got a parcel of land, you live in a house, you can build an ADU. And then before, you couldn't sell that ADU unless you split it into a separate parcel. Now you can keep its one parcel number, turns it into condominium use, and you can sell the ADU. And so they did one. It's a 749 square foot, 2-bedroom ADU. They sold it for a single story, sold it for $530,000. So my question to you guys is, one, if you look at our condos, it's on the lower end, right, of condo pricing, $530,000. All the utilities are separate, so the homeowners condo owners gotta pay their own utilities. So there's not really an HOA per se. So what would you do if you were advising a buyer today? There's a McEwen by Good Sam that's for $530,000, right? Which is, very similar, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Would you advise them to do like the McEwen style, or would you, suggest that they look at something like an ADU converted to a condo?
I would suggest the ADU into a condo. I really like the play, especially on a corner lot, with maybe a place to park. Like where it feels detached and you do have like your own yard. I like that play personally better for myself. And the only like caveat or question I have is, are the HOA dues high? How does that?
There aren't. Well, I will dive into that a little deeper, but it doesn't appear as if there's really any HOA dues, right? Because even though it's the same parcel, the ADU is standalone, detached, right? So you're responsible for your roof and your insurance and your utilities. And so there really isn't any shared cost.
I think it's a better appreciation play. And if my daughter was like, hey, Dad, I want to buy something, I almost think of it as more of a tiny house. And I feel like it's a better experience to be able to like have a nice neighborhood, and it's a little quieter. Maybe you get the schools you want, and you just don't need all the space. I think it's a great.
So I put some thought into this, and I agree with what you're saying from a buyer's perspective. I'd rather buy something that kind of feels.
I know what you're gonna say.
Hold on.
Gonna devalue the other.
Hold on. Don't steal my thunder. But okay, so I got my little ADU, 750 square feet, 2-bedroom. I feel I'm in a single family neighborhood, so the neighborhood feels there. So I'm good. And then the seller's like, or I'm sorry, the homeowner's like, hey, I made another $530K, in my pocket off of selling this. But now what happens when that homeowner wants to sell? Because it's one parcel. And now it's no longer zoned R1, it's zoned condo. So now you are having to sell to somebody who's willing to buy a home on a parcel that is shared with an ADU.
And how does that work? So the original homeowner builds an ADU. So you have, you obviously own the whole lot.
Yep.
You sell that off, and do you still own the land, or like?
So that's the thing with condo use. Nobody owns the land.
So he's relinquishing.
Yeah, I mean, you still get a lot,
Yeah.
right? This is your lot, but it is now a condo lot. And then I guess you would have to create CC&Rs to determine maybe put a fence down the middle.
Or access?
Yeah, you put a fence down the middle and say, hey, this ADU is entitled to this half of the yard, this house is entitled to this half. But now it's like, well, now I want to sell it and retire.
How do you comp that?
Now, are you going to advise a buyer to buy this house that has an ADU in it? Or like you said, does it devalue the single family home at resale?
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think just like setbacks are required when you build a house, I think not every lot is going to be allowed to do this, because...
No, every lot is allowed to
I know
do
for
this.
now. But I think...
We haven't ran into the issue
correct.
yet.
like the headline of this whole thing is someone just sold one to this person, but they haven't tried to sell the primary residence yet. And that person who bought the condo hasn't tried to sell it yet. So you don't really know all of the jurisdiction and laws and nuances yet.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to fail forward. I think what the city's doing is a smart idea, but I think it's going to be a little bit bumpy. And frankly, I am tired of reading in MLS descriptions, potential for an ADU. Like every house in San Jose has potential for an ADU. There's no requirements really on lot sizes, things like that. So,
and then the other thing to think about too, and I know we're spending a lot of time on this, and maybe for the average listener it's not interesting, but it's fascinating to me because if they changed the land, the zoning from R1 to condominium, you guys know that when you go to get a mortgage, it is more expensive to get a mortgage on a condo than it is a single family home. So that's the other piece too, is that now when you go to resell your single family home, now the buyer has to pay another 0.25% interest rate, plus or minus, because it's no longer zoned R1.
So people always ask, who would this be applicable for and why should I care? Well, I'm going to tell you. I think this is applicable for someone who has no intention of ever selling the main dwelling.
Yes.
And I personally would not only add one condo. I would try to put multiple. Remember that Mountain View property you took us to? Mm-hmm. I would try to put as many as I possibly could because you're devaluing the house, in my opinion, so much that it doesn't matter. So go for I
like that.
Like just try to offset by building so many and try to make a McEwen, which is the 4 stacked.
Yeah, and then here's the other piece to that, and then we'll move on. It was a 750 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo ADU. Call it what you want. What's the construction cost on that per foot? Even if you did it cheap, $300,000? No, per foot.
Dollars.
Oh, I would say 500 minimum.
Right. But. So at 500 a foot, you're 400,000 in construction costs. You sell it for 530. So you're going through all this effort to make 130K before taxes. So maybe a net 80K when it's done, and then you're giving up your zoning of your house and half of part of your yard. I mean, I don't see.
The only way it makes sense is if you do more than one and you're buying prefabricated properties.
Yeah, if you do prefab, right? I think that's a great idea because then you'll save on cost. But I don't know. Like you said, we don't know yet about resale value. I can tell you that they've got one more approved to sell as San Jose has one more approved to sell as a condo, and then 2 more are in the planning and review phase. So stay tuned.
Respectfully, if anyone from the city of San Jose hears this, your guys' permit and process department is just absolutely antiquated and horrible.
Aaron's a victim.
So I'm a full-blown victim. So I like all of the ideas. I think any opportunity is a good opportunity. This is like the American dream. If that's what you guys want to do on your property, God bless you. You
You're free to do it all.
But holy crap, can we please streamline the process a little bit more, So
yeah, I completely agree.
This is cool.
And I know you had some stuff, Jay, you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, so interesting article out of the Wall Street Journal titled, More Americans Now Want to Age Inside Their Home. So
that'd be me too. I don't ever want to leave.
Going anywhere. So, historically we hear of the downsizers,
empty nesters leaving.
Empty nesters, that sort of demographic where, people are in a big house, they don't have kids anymore, it's too big for them, mobility issues come into effect with stairs and all that kind of stuff, so they downsize. They find something smaller. So AARP did a poll, and
I happen to be a member of.
Amen to that. And then they're saying 75% of Americans over 50 don't want to downsize. They want to stay in their home, whatever that's worth. So with that, a new sort of specialist or consulting kind of firm comes out, and they're called Certified Aging in Place Specialists. Have we heard of this?
No.
Me neither.
No. I'm writing it down because I'm going to look it up later.
So Certified Age in Place Specialists are basically companies that are popping up, apparently, that are kind of like built up into a team. So home designers, contractors, and then lenders, specifically to go into houses where people don't want to put in like an elevator or a chairlift, things like that. And they're especially targeting like additions to houses. So the specific addition is like, hey, I have an older couple. They are towards like the 4th quarter of their life.
Right.
How do we put an addition in that accomplishes, what you need now, and then kind of a little bit
Down
later on.
So like downstairs ensuite,
kitchenette, bathroom,
like an ADU, but attached to the house.
Yeah. They're even going with stuff for like, hey, if we need to put in like hospital beds or people for like long-term care, things like that. So that's kind of the main goal and like kind of lens when you hire people like this. So people essentially want to maintain their lifestyle, their neighborhood. Hey, my kids live down the street or whatever. and they're coming in and doing these kind of things. The biggest like kind of red flag in the article is how are you going to pay for all this kind of stuff, right? It probably doesn't really apply to people that, have good, post-retirement incomes or assets or things like that they can do. But a lot like the lenders are specializing in home equity lines. So basically taking a line of credit outside of or from your equity of your house to pay for these additions. And as we know, those aren't free. So you're, if you have a paid off house, financially, you need to be in a good spot to where.
Well, yeah, and home equity lines of credit are adjustable. There really aren't fixed home lines of credit. They may be fixed for a very short period of time, 6 months, 12 months, but they're adjustable and they fluctuate. So when inflation's up and credit card rates are up and interest rate loans are up, then your HELOC is going to go up too, right? Okay. So like you said, you got to have a plan to pay it down or pay it off.
Yeah, exactly. So so super interesting. They also will kind of coordinate any sort of landscapers, gardeners, cleaners, and then kind of any in-home care, like a one-stop shop for people that want to age in their home. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's great. Selfishly, it's not good for housing in general, right? Because I get it. I don't ever want to leave my house either, but my house would be better suited 20 years from now with a new family, with kids, and right? I mean, so from a real estate agent perspective, don't like it because it's a house that we're not selling. From a neighborhood turnover, it's not great. But selfishly, I get it. I want to age him. I want to die. I want to be buried in my backyard if I can. So.
Well, you have a two-story. Do you have a bedroom downstairs?
I do not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm staying in shape so I can get up and down those stairs. Right?
So but he has also a step down. And you only have one, but some people have those tri-level. Multiple. Makes it really hard.
Yeah.
Yep. Quick little hot take. I want to get your guys' opinion, and feel free to not hold back. Do open house signs help generate more activity for your open houses?
No. I wanted to say that quick enough, so I wasn't copying him.
I had a situation recently where I had an agent, not somebody from our team, but an agent at our office do an open house for me, and they only put out one sign. And I guess the seller's friend had come by the open house, told the seller, hey, I was here, I only saw one sign. So the seller, not happy about that. Hey,
always my biggest fear, by the way. Not putting out enough.
Yeah. And the seller comes back to me and says, hey, David, my friend came by the open house, only saw one sign, but saw multiple signs for other open houses in the neighborhood. So my response was, let me look into that. But what I really wanted to say was, the dirty little secret of open houses is that open houses aren't meant to sell your home. They're meant to promote the agent and to get new clients, period. When's the last time you've done a lot of open houses? When's the last time somebody said, hey, we weren't thinking about buying a house, but we saw your open house signs, we followed them to your house, and now we want to buy the house?
In 12 years of doing this and doing an open house almost every weekend, let me think, 0.
Yeah, no, me too. And if anything, it brings by people that are just looky-loos and bored, or maybe criminals, to like, hey, let's go scope out a house, right? This one's open. We live in a day and age of technology where people just put in the address and they go. So much so that I would say 50%, maybe not 50, 40% of the people that come into my open house now won't even take a flyer. Because they're like, oh, I have it all on my phone. Yeah. Or they'll take the flyer and give it back to me at the end. I have everything on my phone. So for you sellers out there that are worried that your agent didn't put out 12 open house signs that only have their agent's name and phone number on it anyway, it's not helping to sell your home. It's just helping to promote the agent.
Marketing.
I do think like a sign out front, like an open house coming in, it's kind of welcoming.
Yeah.
Throw 3 out there, maybe one across the street, maybe block the driveway, maybe if there's like an easy corner, throw it on there. I usually do like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'll do 3 to 4, and like you said, one in the driveway, one at the end of the street, just to be like, just in case they're not paying attention. Oh, there's the sign.
And sometimes you meet like other neighbors, and they give you some cool insight about the neighborhood, or we want people to come and see it. I'm personally not even doing for sale signs in front yards on vacant homes anymore. We've just had too many issues.
Yeah,
but yes, it is to promote the agent. That's why you see 100 of them.
Right.
100 open house signs.
Do you know any?
Shout out David Lillo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know any agents that pay people to put their open house?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's marketing.
And they'll just pay to put them out, even though it doesn't go towards a
Going in
house.
a circle.
They're just out.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, I want to pretend, or I want to give the perception that I'm the neighborhood agent. So I'm going to pay somebody every weekend to go down to Willow Glen and put my signs out on all the corners of all the busy intersections pointing to nowhere. So it doesn't help sell a home. Sorry if you think that, but all good. Last thing I want to talk about.
I also have one thing.
Oh, then you first.
Okay. I had never heard of this particular instance, but I guess I'm always learning. You actually had, and you said, I've heard of this. It has to do with appraisals. For those of you who don't know, every time you get a loan, the bank has to have an appraisal done by an appraiser, which is your neutral third-party value for the most part. Mm-hmm. It will always come in at the purchase price or under if you climbed the ladder to go get one. I bought a property with clients at $1,850,000, and I was dead on for price per square foot on a premier street, no red flags. Well, this appraiser decided he was going to use the ANSI method, ANSI. I had never heard of it, which therefore got rid of about 180 square feet. Therefore, I came in with a value of $1.8 million. So what does that mean? Well, that means that my clients are now liable to come in with another $50,000 on top of their 20% down, which kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. And more than that, it doesn't feel very good to offer 1.85 and then some random appraiser guy is telling you it's worth 1.8.
Yep. I
looked into this method, and basically what he did is he took out the stairs. So he did not give me any value for stairs, as if the stairs were outside of the property.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Because you can't live on the stairs. Can't live in there, right? That's
so the stairs were not living space. But with an appraisal, and stay with me here, mm-hmm. you have to use other comparable sales. Other comparable sales are properties that have sold within a certain period of time in a certain area around that, house. Mm-hmm. He didn't get rid of any of their stairs, so only I got kind of screwed. I got so pissed off about this, I went on LinkedIn and I found the Wells Fargo North American president of appraisals, mm-hmm. and I messaged him, and lo and behold to me, I was in a pool in Cabo with you, and I got a phone call from the head of Wells Fargo appraisals. Anyways, he asked me various questions. He said, I can't really talk to you too much about it, right, but just know it was completely wrong.
What a nice guy.
And it made me feel kind of good, and I ultimately got a new value of 1.85, which was the correct value. So anyone listening to this, maybe you didn't use us, I'm sorry for your loss, and you bought a house with someone else that came in short. Know that you can always fight it. There's things that you can do, so don't just take a...
That appraiser is now not working for
Yeah, he.
Moment of silence.
I left him a series of unfortunate text messages.
You underscore something really important, is that most of the stuff that we do as agents, clients never see, right? I mean, the stuff that we're fighting in the background, whether it's against other agents or lenders, or the city or whoever. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, a client's like, man, David, thank you so much. This transaction was so smooth. And then, I didn't sleep for like 3 weeks the whole time because I'm fighting on behalf of the client, and you can't tell them everything that's going wrong because you don't want to freak them out, right? And so, shout out to you for doing that, because 9 out of 10 agents would have just told the buyer, hey, you got to come up with an extra $50K.
Yeah, and shout out to Ben for telling his clients literally everything and freaking them out all the time,
that's another thing. The one thing I want to close on today, this is something interesting. When we sell a car now, we go to like Carvana or CarMax, whatever, and we sell it, we get a trade-in value the originator of car values is Kelley Blue Book, the KBB Blue Book. I don't know about you young guys if you use it.
For sure.
Of course. You see the book, you open it up.
It used to be an actual blue book. My grandfather was a used car salesman, so he had them all over the house. And now it's online. They were the trusted name in car valuations. Mm-hmm. Well, recently they have added home valuations to this. So this is really interesting because it's not like a Zillow where you just put in your address and it spits you out a value. Kelley Blue Book, just like when they value cars, there's a lot of questions behind it. So a seller has to fill out a ton of information about the home in order to get a value. But what Kelley Blue Book is doing is they are partnering with other real estate agents or with real estate agents to go and meet with the seller, talk about that. A couple interesting stats on that. If you're a real estate agent and you are outside of Santa Clara County, I encourage you to go sign up to see if you qualify to be a partner agent with Kelley Blue Book. But the other thing about this, and it's kind of a small pool that they started off with, but out of all of these sellers that completed the entire evaluation questionnaire, 46% of those people sold within 6 months. So if you look at it from an online lead generation, this is again for agents, not consumers, but they're high intent sellers, because if you're willing to take time to fill out that much information, plus Kelley Blue Book is such a trusted source that people are going to them when they're serious about selling a home. So kind of interesting, still brand new. It's only been around a couple of months, but the numbers, if you're a real estate agent, look pretty promising. Santa Clara County is already sold out. So if you're an agent outside of Santa Clara County, you still have a chance to get in. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how they fall in line with all, because essentially it's a lead generation source.
That's so
agents.
smart of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the name.
They're going to sell the leads.
They already have the name recognition, and then that's the other thing. Hold on, it gets better. Maybe we shouldn't even air this segment. You don't pay a referral fee. So like HomeLight and those guys, 25, 35, 40%, right. You just pay a monthly fee.
For now.
Until they see the checks.
Yeah. But just, again, very interesting, right? Because it's showing that they're not motivated per se by the money. They want to partner with good agents.
But here's what Kelley Blue Book has done recently with cars is that they then take all of the information that the consumer has given and they say, here are 12 different dealerships willing to buy your car. Let me get numbers. They all throw their numbers, and then they go, perfect. We can pick it up in an hour.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see whether this will lead towards more off-market sales, just as is.
Right.
No inspections, no nothing, similar to like Open Door, which in my opinion was buying houses with not enough information, which is why it didn't go well.
Yep.
Or if this will push properties to agents for agents to encourage them to do the bathroom and the kitchens and the floors and put it on the market.
Yeah, time will tell. I'll let you
Time will tell. We got a lot of time will tells in this one. Condo ownership and KBB, but I think it's good. They've had the accredited name, and a lot of buying houses in the Bay Area, there's a new wave, right? People in their 30s to 40s, and they are always seeking advice from their mentors or their parents, and the name KBB, all of our parents know. It's a trusted resource. So I think it's a smart move for their business.
Super interesting.
I agree. So that's it. Great stuff. Jacob, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Jacob, have you any hot takes you haven't jumped on?
Oh, I was just thinking that maybe sellers will still be unrealistic. Like if you go online at KBB for your car, like you're always like, my car's great, like it doesn't have any dents in it, right? When really then you go to the dealer and they're like,
hey dude,
it's a piece of
As long as they put excellent homes, 2%, you fall into fair.
Under fair,
for sure.
I guarantee you it will still give unrealistic seller expectations.
Well, sellers will always be unrealistic. No, for sure. And it'll be interesting to see if they actually give the value up front or they hand it off to an agent to finalize the value. They probably give them a range.
And Jake,
like Kelley Blue Book does.
I think you would be a hard buyer and seller in general.
Yep.
Yes, I'd be very
You're the unrealistic seller, and then the buyer who wants the deal.
I would be the worst person to work with, I think.
All right, and before we wrap up, we got Music in the Park in Los Gatos next Sunday. As always, we're the VIP sponsor. You come hang with us. You eat for free. You drink for free. You get on an elevated platform, so you're not down with general population. Join us for that, and that's it. See you guys next week.
Later.